Welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory in our Mega Factory 2.0 series. And after completing our iron ore Mega Factory here to be able to produce over 10,000 iron ingots, now it's time to move on to our next resource. So let's head over to our planning board and see where we're going from here. All right, here we are at our little project board to kind of see how we're doing progress-wise on our Mega Factory 2.0. Let's see where we've got to. So as we can see on here, we have completed the iron ore, and it looks like our next one that we're going to do is we're actually going to jump down to copper ore, because that'll be kind of like a push for all the wire that we're going to need and cabling we're going to need that eventually filter down to, copper sheeting and circuit boards and so on and so forth as we progress through all of the items that we need to be making. So we're going to be focusing on copper ore right now. So that is our next plan. We need 4,100 copper ore. Just going to say right now that I guarantee you we're going to end up making more. We're going to be dealing with more than 4,100 copper by the time that we're all said and done with this, just because of how things will balance out for the factory. I still don't have a name yet for what I want to call that copper factory. So if you guys have a suggestion, maybe leave something in the comment there or what we could name this copper plant. My iron one was Ironworks. So, we just need to come up with something now for the copper plant. So location, that's what we got to be looking at right now. And if we look at this map that I grabbed off of Satisfactory Calculator, this is kind of over in the desert area again. It's kind of a little bit more on the south end of the desert. There is some pure copper nodes as well as some normal copper nodes that we're going to be able to pull from. And then we'll be able to build our refinery kind of out in that water section that's just to the south of that desert. There's lots of water space out there that we can build the factory on. So that's kind of that's the area we're going to be focusing on for this plant, which is right beside our Ironworks plant. So let's go now and see about finding that location. So after looking at that Satisfactory Calculator map that we got where the nodes are all located, it does look like we're heading back over to our desert area, but this time we're going to be just a little bit further south in this area. There's a few pure nodes over there and a bunch of normal nodes that we're going to be able to pull from, because we're going to need about a little over 4,100 copper ore to be able to pull this off, which, we targeted for full lines before. So if we could target for 6 good solid 780 lines of copper ore to be able to process down here into ingots, that will give us plenty of copper ingots for what we're going to need. So let's go ahead and have a look at this area here to see, what we can set up for a factory in this location. All right, scouting around the area here, we can see that there's a few little copper nodes that are kind of spread out here. There is one here. I'm not sure which one of these is pure or not pure. Let's look at this one here. This is a normal node, so I'm going to assume our pure nodes are a little bit further in yet. We have another one right here. Let's land and check this one out. That one is a normal node as well. This one here, normal, so we're going to keep cruising in here a little ways. If we look at this map, well, I imagine it's a little bit more up this way that we got to be looking. So we're going to tuck into these hills here are going to be, they're going to play a little bit of a challenge with getting our materials moved around, especially trying to keep them contained like we did with our iron. From back here, the Ironworks location, it looks really quite impressive. I'm quite pleased with how that's turned out. There is another copper node here. Let's quickly check this one out and see what we got here. Here is a pure node. So this is our first pure node. And let's see what else is kind of cruising around this little area here. If we've got some more that we can kind of pull from. We've got some coal over here, which is going to be handy because we're going to need some more power eventually. Got some sulfur up here. Let's look at where we are on the map. I'm thinking we need to head a little bit further this way. Searching. I guess we could actually just use our little resource scanner to be able to figure out exactly where the pure nodes are, but we're going to check this one out, see what it says. That one is a pure node. I'm going to bet that this one over here is probably a pure node as well, because I think there was like 3 pure nodes and then a bunch of normal ones that we'll be able to pull from. So yes, this is pure as well. So now it's a matter of figuring out, okay, where's going to be the best place to build this factory out? And I'm thinking, oh, hey, look, a purple power slug. We can grab this while we're at it. Hello, you're going to add into our little collection of power cells that we'll be using for overclocking our water extractors, but we could actually build the factory out over top of this crag type area here and over top of this water area. It would be nice if we could pull our resources. See, we're running into those lag spikes, and it's when I'm looking at where we've got our I think it's more towards our aluminum plant, because right there is where the aluminum plant was. I think it might be causing our lag that we're getting, but somewhere around here, see, there's another copper node right there. We've got a bunch more coal here that we can pull from too. Out here, we could actually build some more coal plants, coal power plants. But I'm thinking, like, right off of this section here, we could build out and build whatever refinery, because we are going to be using pure copper nodes for being able to do this. But out this way somewhere, we can start maybe looking at building up our factory for processing all of this copper. But we need to get the copper here first. So that's what we're going to work on right now, is getting 6 full conveyors of 780 items per minute over to this location, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do with those materials. Okay, we've mapped out our copper nodes, and I've just laid down some quick foundations just to kind of see the flow of materials that are over here. So we have 2 nodes over there that are normal, that'll provide one of our lines. There's a pure node there, a pure node there, and a pure there. That's a total of 4. And then we have, once we get past our little lag spike, we have 3 more normal nodes here, followed by 1 more normal node right here. That'll give us our 6 total lines of 780 items per minute that we can then build out this way for our factory. So we've got everything all mapped out here. Now it's a matter of actually getting the materials here. And we've got a lot of work to do, because I'm going to be building a bunch more of these transport tubes everywhere for being able to move these materials around, because they seem to work out really well for aesthetics, to be able to get everything to where we need them to be. So let us get those built. And the next time you see this, we're going to have all of the copper sitting probably right here, ready to go to some form of a factory that we're going to build out here. Okay, we now have all of the copper gathered up. We've got all of the nodes mining away here, and then each of our copper nodes shoot up into our transport tubes here. And thankfully, I don't know if you saw in the last video I uploaded, the fix for being able to get rid of the lag in your game. I did remove all of the signs that I was using for lighting accents inside all of my tunnels, and now the game is running so much better. So I'm going to put a little card up in the video here right now that if you haven't seen that, go check that out, because if you're running into these lag issues, you will be pleasantly surprised at how easy it is to fix it. So, but yeah, this is the second copper node coming up here. We got our Mark III miner down there. I have various mergers and splitters, all smart splitters set up so that we can get all of the lines running at 780 items per minute. And we've got our other miner down that way that's coming in here that end up merging in. These 2 lines here on the left side, they're already running at 780 items per minute. And then we bring up this one, that's 780. So the first 3 are 780, and I think this one's like 240-ish, somewhere around there. But we merged them along with various other miners, because not all of these nodes that we got were the full pure nodes to be able to get an easy 780 items per minute. So Here's another one that's coming up. So we now got, I think it's 4 full lines and 1 partial line coming through this way. And then we have an additional 2 solid lines and another partial line that hits here. That merges together. And I think at this point we are up to 360 items per minute. I don't need that sign there anymore. So we got 6 full lines and 1 partial, and then we shoot all the way down this way. And we come out at this end, and we have 1 more node that we are collecting here to be able to get us our last line at 780. So we actually have 7 full lines. I am overproducing. This is 5,460 copper per minute, copper ore per minute that we're getting out of here. And that's all shooting down this way. And then we'll shoot out that way. And as you can see, I started putting down my refineries for pure copper ingot plants. The recipe for pure copper ingots, it doesn't take near as much copper ore to be able to make the ingots. So it's only 15 copper ore. So each pure line here is going to be 52 refineries. And we're going to do that 7 times over. That is just, we're going to have, it's going to be something, it's going to take up a lot of real estate out here to be able to put all that in place. And then of course I am going to bring the fluid in inside the foundation here below. So it'll just help it keep it clean. And then we'll have to design some kind of a building to put over top of this whole thing once we get it all put together. So this is where we're at. And if we look out from the outside here, each one of the copper towers are denoted by the green, because that's kind of, you know, green when it oxides, or copper when it oxidizes kind of gets that green color. That's why I've denoted our copper nodes as green. I'm going to actually go through in the iron nodes. I'm going to end up accenting them in red. Seeing how we don't have the light accents anymore, we're going with some painted concrete and painted walls to be able to get that all denote, or get it, you know, divided up so it's easy to do distinguish between what nodes are what when we're looking from the outside here. So all in all, things are really coming together. So there's our iron plant that we did in the last episode. And this is our accumulation of the copper ingots. So now I'm going to continue out with getting all of the plants put in place here. And once all the plants are in, we'll come back and have a look, and then we'll design some type of a building to put over top of all that. All right, as you can see here, we have got all 7 lines of our copper ore being fed up to the side of this building that we're going to have. And we have 7 rows of our refineries here that are going to be making our pure copper ingots. So this works out to about 364 refineries all lined up here that are going to be making all of our copper ingots to be able to handle all 7 lines of 780 items per minute of the copper ore. Now it's a matter of getting them all connected together, getting things fed, and then I'm going to try to figure out something to do with some lighting accents in here. I started putting down some of these light posts. We'll kind of see how it looks. I'm just playing around with it. I don't know how well it's going to actually look, but we'll go from there. And then we have to come up with some type of a building to surround this. And then I think because there's so much real estate here, I might actually have some of the other copper things that we're going to be doing built on top of this, but we'll kind of play that by ear as we go, because there's going to be like this huge flat space here once everything's all done, and once I've get this all enclosed into a building. So things to look forward to, but for now, let us get everything all connected. Let's get our raw materials, or our copper ingots, all getting fed into awesome sinks, and then a building surrounding this, and we'll see how things are looking from that point. So I had to go through a little bit of a redesign here because I did not leave myself logistically enough room for our output side for being able to add in the various mergers and splitter lines to make sure that I could always get 780 items per minute. So I completely disassembled everything and all have replaced it. And wow, does it ever look amazing in here when you're flying around amongst all of these refineries? But there are, what, 364-ish refineries out here. And logistically, we just had to make a few changes. So now I've got to work on getting them all connected and keep going with adding the source lines, the water source, and the copper ore into these refineries so that I can keep making ingots. So let's keep pounding away at that. Okay, after mining out 5,460 copper ore from our various nodes that we have distributed out throughout this desert here, it all comes back and feeds out into these 7 lines of 780 items per minute that then feed into this factory that we have built here. This is 364 refineries, all running at 100%, to be able to make all of our copper ingots. And I think the factory, the outside, the visual appeal of the factory, I think it's actually turned out fairly well. We can enter in from this far side here. We're just doing a little bit of a flyby on how it looks from the outside here. And as we shoot around this end, we have all of our water extractors all set up on this end that are feeding all of our plumbing down through in a sub-basement in here. And all of the water then comes up. So each row of 52 refineries is fed from 2 water extractors that are overclocked. So we have 600 water per minute. We actually only need 520, so we are plenty of water that we've got running through here. And then, of course, all of the copper ore and everything is flying down this way and filling up our refineries. And then all of the ingots end up shooting down through the floor, and they all conveyor down to that far end. So we've got our 7 rows here. All of them are just puking away. There was a little bit left over on one of the lines here that didn't make quite 780 items per minute, but we're making way more than we actually need for copper ore. So this one line is just dumping straight into an awesome sink over here, and that will just stay like that. If for whatever reason, I want to say it works out to about 260-ish copper ore, or sorry, copper ingots that are just being dumped into this awesome sink that we'll probably never end up touching. And that's because we have 17 conveyors over here running at 780 items per minute, giving us over 13,200 ore that are flying down here right now. And yes, I do have all this being dumped into an awesome sink at this point, just so that we can have this factory up and running. And then we'll pull off what we need for some of our other builds. But doesn't this look fantastic? Seeing all of this ore just streaming through and dumping into all of these. We've got 17 awesome sinks all sitting out here. Now, it's not going to be a huge pile of tickets that we're going to get off of this, but every little bit counts. So that's what is happening right now. So we've got that happening over at the iron factory way over here, there, and now at the copper factory here. So the only thing now I have left to do is I got to name this copper factory. We called that one over there the Ironworks plant. Here we need to come up with another name. So maybe if you have any suggestions, fill it out, leave a comment on this video and let me know if you have any suggestions of what we can name this copper factory. And then one of you maybe might come up with a name that we'll find suitable for our little Mega Factory 2.0 that we're working on. So with that all said, thank you for watching this video and seeing how we went through this process of building this massive copper ingot factory. Reach down, hit the like button on the video if you could. Again, leave some comments. Be happy to see what you guys come up with for factory names for this. Subscribe if you are new to the channel and ring that notification bell so you can be notified when I have a new video upload. You can also follow me on social media, and that's on Instagram and Twitter at TerrisDWDC. With that all said, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next episode.